Welcome back to the weekly news roundup. This is the privacy edition. These are recorded live Fridays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you'd like to come on by and join us live. If you want to help support the channel, there's several different ways. The way we are featuring today is shop.switchedtolinux.com. You can pick up a t-shirt. These ones are the RMRF No Preserve Root 2018 Code of Conduct. That's actually, I really need to put some more products up here because I think that's the last one I put up here. We do have Switch to Linux, you fool. T-shirts, mouse pads, cats and tinfoil hats on coffee cups and bags, things like that. And water bottles. We do have Sub to the Cat. The Human is Crazy. These hoodies, by the way, are amazing. I have a black hoodie. That is really good. We got some pink there, some blues, basic Switch to Linux stuff over there. And, of course, the classic Switch to Linux mouse pad. Very nice. But anyway, you can head on over to shop.switchedtolinux.com to flip through what we have over there. All right, now on to the actual news. There was a free Wi-Fi provider in UK that, surprise, 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 gathered everybody's data. They knew what stations you got on, what stations you got off, outsource this thing to the lowest customer, the lowest provider, who put the entire database on an AWS cloud without a password. Maybe you should take a test before you're allowed to do things with AWS. Make sure things are, secure. You're using security groups, so only certain things can actually access some of this stuff. I mean, really, people. So, but they're like, and this is how this data stuff has shifted. They're like, it was low risk. It only got your names, your addresses, your emails, and your regular route. No payment information was gathered. Really? That's the good news. Let's see. My payment information expires in a couple of months, but who I am, where I am, my email address, all the places I'm going and coming to really doesn't expire. How is that low risk? Somebody explain this to me like I'm 3 years old. Someone. But anyway, it was the free Wi-Fi. So if anybody's over there in the UK using the free Wi-Fi at C3UK, sorry, all your data leaked online on an AWS database that wasn't secured. What else is new? Why is this called new news? It's not new. That always happens. All right, well, this is new. Well, maybe not. It's a new name. Microsoft is changing how they list their diagnostics data in the settings. A thing that I like to know, that I always indicate, say, this is the reason why I left Windows. You go in there and it says basic diagnostic data, and, then they had a couple other options. Well, they're changing this for transparency. They're not changing what's happening. They're just changing the name. Instead of saying basic, they're changing it to required diagnostic data. Yeah. Microsoft is tweaking the way it labels its diagnostic data. The basic diagnostic data option, which includes information like your IP address, what type of device you're using, is now known as the required diagnostic data. This should reduce confusion for users who don't understand why the basic data collection can't be turned off. Switch to Linux, people. Switch to Linux. It's cool over on the Linux side. I do most of my work over here now. And that I still do on Windows, I actually can do on Linux. I just haven't dumped that computer yet. All right, presumably this data is what Microsoft uses to get on top of significant screw-ups. You know what's funny? They started collecting all the data to have a better user experience and better understand all this stuff. Did anybody notice that the updates got worse when they started collecting all this data? It's like the government doing a giant dragnet to collect all this data that has never helped them capture anybody doing something wrong because they have an overabundance of data that nobody knows what to do with any of it. For the love. And so it's just like, we got all the data on everything now. I don't know. This is too much data, man. I don't know. Let's just push the update anyway. But sir, we fired the QA team. Screw it. They're the beta testers anyway. You guys know you're the beta testers for Windows if you're still on Windows? Switch to Linux, people. Switch to Linux. Anyway, then there's the full diagnostic option, which is disabled by default and lets Microsoft harvest information about the websites you visit, the apps and features you use, among other things. The option will now be called Optional Diagnostics Data to better reflect its intent. The change is minor, particularly for our tech-savvy readers, but less informed users might have previously assumed that the full diagnostic data option was necessary or beneficial to them. Making this small tweak, those individuals might be more likely to stick to the basic settings without volunteering unnecessary information. As if Microsoft were ever concerned about people wanting this. No, Microsoft keeps on trying to toggle it on. Which, by the way, it was on by default, I believe. Top of these smaller changes, enterprise customers will have a few more options within the group policy editor. The menu will soon include the granular settings to let workers better configure their data. People, switch to Linux. Really. All right, Ring. We're back to that Ring cycle again. Hey, Alexa, order us some unicorn meat. All right, so the Ring products are logging everything. The doorbell presses, detecting motion, and app interaction. I love this part. It says, don't worry, it's anonymized. It collects the user ID of the device. It's anonymized because it doesn't have your actual name there. Never mind that you have to register the device with the account. I don't know. I'm getting to the point where if I see Ring doorbells, I might just avoid that street. There's a way to keep me off your street. Just have signs. Maybe we should pass a law. Require a sign. There is a Ring doorbell here. Do not pass within a certain range of this house or you will be recorded by video surveillance. In fact, I don't know why that's not already required, because a business is required to indicate if audio and video surveillance is being used on their premise. Interesting thought. So the BBC, Amazon keeps records of every motion detected by Ring doorbells, along with the exact times they are logged. It was also discovered that every interaction with the Ring app is stored right down to the device model and the mobile network used. Even fingerprints for zooming were documented. You open the app up, oh, zoom in, let's see what's going on there. That is even captured. Broadcaster received the information after submitting a data subject access request as part of a wider investigation into their data gathering practices. Company says the information uses the information to evaluate, manage, and improve its products and services. Yeah, right. The records show between September 28th, 2019 and February 3rd, 2020, 1,939 individual camera events were documented. These included when motion was detected, when a doorbell was pressed, and when someone accessed live video and audio feed. Here's, look at this, the event ID, the device ID, the device state, created at, type of event, the duration. When it came to the Ring app, 4,906 actions were listed in a database over 129 days, including when it was opened, various screen taps, pinch to zoom actions, details. Then, let's see, it says it collects, the data it collects is anonymized and can't be linked to individual accounts. But it has your device ID. Very interesting. I think the people at Amazon need to be politicians, because when their mouths are opening, they're lying. I don't know. There's an old joke. I couldn't find it anywhere. I might actually have it like an actual printed out paper laying around somewhere, but I don't know. But it's this guy in this mayor's desk, and he's sitting there at the mayor's desk, and this lady dragging her little kid in there, kind of crying, says, "Look at what you'll be if you don't learn to tell the truth." All right. Want a little bit of good privacy news? DuckDuckGo has they have this tracker radar that exposes hidden tracking buried within websites. They actually just open source the code so developers can get access to this. So this is actually used on the browser, or on the mobile browser. It's the only browser DuckDuckGo has. They have the mobile browser for iOS and Android. They also have browser extensions for Chrome, Firefox, and Safari that you can install, and this will hunt out those individual trackers. So for the basic end consumer, you can download the extensions. For the developers, you can actually download the source code, develop, do fun stuff with it. So that's kind of a cool thing. So DuckDuckGo is actually pushing out some good open source software to help us find and track down the data stuff. All right, Spotify working on voice activation for its apps. Hey Alexa, order me some unicorn meat. Confirm. All right. So, Spotify, voice activation. Now, it responds to Hey Spotify. At least it's not like Alexa, because there's legitimately a number of people with the name Alexa. If there's children running around with the name Spotify, please, kids, get new parents. Okay? So, Hey Spotify is less likely to mean the guy, your best friend on the bus, more likely to mean your music thing. The other good news about this for now is that it only works when the app is open and in focus. So it's not something that runs in the background like, hey Alexa, order unicorn meat, confirmed. Okay, so that's the good news about it, but I promise it's going to roll itself into the crazy mess at the end. You do have to give it your microphone permissions, of course, and basically it's just there to help you fine-tune some song preferences on Spotify. But anyway, they're working on Hey Spotify, so that's exciting. All right, feature story of the day is a wonderful little law coming out, and of course, they have to give these laws a pithy name, and this is not the only law we're going to see tonight if you're watching the show live, because another news section has another pithy law. This one is by Graham, is it Blumenthal, Hawley, and Feinstein, and it is called Earn It. Sounds like something you'd find in some exploitation film, but this is designed to weed out exploitation by making people earn their Section 230 protections by submitting themselves to the loss of encryption. What? So, Section 230 is the part that a website owner can't be held liable if infringing content makes its way up there. So you gotta, go through the process. They take the content down, and this is the type of thing that we see, right? There's been questions about this Section 230, and people have been trying to roll it back to actually hold websites accountable. This is what was happening with was SESTA and whatever else. There were two other laws recently that they used to take down Backpage. This one's going to be used to take down a little bit more, and it's called the Earn It, or eliminating, I gotta be like a politician, don't I? Eliminating Abuse of Rampant Neglect or of Interactive Technologies Act, or the Earn It Act. So the Earn It creates incentives for companies to earn their liability protection under Section 230. So you don't just get it automatically anymore, you have to earn it. How do you earn it? By being certified. How do you get certified? Well, it's really an open-ended thing. There's nothing in here that says you can't have encryption, but there's completely open-ended standards that are not in the law. And so literally all it does is down here, it's going to create a strong incentive for the tech industry to make online exploitation take it seriously. Who's not taking it seriously? They're already in violation of law if they're not taking it seriously. Really. So it amends Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act to allow companies to earn their liability protection for violations related to bad materials. How does it do this? By establishing a national commission. That's all we need. Another unelected commission. Great. So we have a national commission on online child bleep prevention to recommend best practices. So we have a non-elected commission that's going to recommend best practices for identifying and reporting. So this is headed by the DOJ, DHS, FTC, and 16 other members appointed by congressional leadership, including representatives from law enforcement, survivors, victim services, constitutional law experts, technical experts, and industry. Then, number 3, it allows for the congressional review of best practices. So, you have really strong encryption. This is not a best practice. See, they're not going to make it illegal to have encryption, but they're going to remove your Section 230 protections under the law for failing to have strong encryption, if that is what the recommendations might actually happen to have. Safe harbor liabilities companies can choose to certify compliance with best practices in order to maintain immunity from bad stuff. If companies do not want to certify compliance, they can maintain immunity by establishing that they have other reasonable practices to prevent bad stuff. And there's recourse for survivors and tools for enforcement. So I guess giving Chris Hansen access to the whole websites, I don't know what that means. But this is a little creepy. This is one of these things that they're using a law to get around our existing law. Okay, I think that Section 230 is working pretty good. Any decent website is already doing a good job of filtering this stuff out. Those that aren't, we need to take action on those individual ones. The fact of the matter is, though, is that this is going to hurt consumers. Now, I didn't pull up the article here from several other places that reported on this, where pretty much the whole internet industry is looking at this going, no, this is a bad thing. Don't do this. So if you're in one of these states with one of these crazy politicians, go tell them to please understand how computers work first. This is not a good thing. This is not a good thing. It basically takes the ability to encrypt and the Section 230 protections and places them in the hands of an unelected body without any real clarity. Serious problem. So let me know your thoughts to this article and the other ones. Don't forget to have a look at shop.switchedtolinux.com or the other links in the description down below. Thanks for watching, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.